Welcome back then folks, of course, to day 2 of Special Projects Pack number 7. This time, of course, a returning face for the third build, the Nismo Fairlady Z, and in particular, I've decided to replicate the Gran Turismo 6-spec Z-Tune. There were, of course, a couple of different versions. There was the S-Tune by Gran Turismo and the Z-Tune. If I recall correctly, I think this one was the more powerful of the two, though. About 400 horses, 1250 kilos. And it actually surprised me just how quick this one ended up being. Now, as far as the visuals, of course, I will put on screen that you can jump down to the video description and download the player's design to your car. There is one change which I would recommend making. They fitted the rear diffuser. You don't need that on the car. It doesn't match the visuals, so that's the only thing that I changed, was removing that. There were a couple of different things for this one that I purchased to see which one suited the car better, so we'll run through those now and see which ones you do or don't need. So first of all, for the sports section, and it is a fairly simple build to do, you do not need the sports exhaust. That's one of the things that I tested a couple of different options, so you can leave that one, you don't need that one. You want the sports pads, the stage 1 weight. I've opted to leave it on sports hard tyres, seems appropriate for a street level aftermarket car. We've got the high lift cams technically, but again, you don't need to get that one because we've actually got under the ultimate section the high lift cams S, which of course overrides that one. So don't bother buying that one. We want the high compression pistons though. We've got stage 2 weight. I do have the power restrictor and the ballast. You never know when you might need to adjust things for certain restrictions, for example. As far as the semi-racing stuff, you do want the semi-race exhaust because that's the one I've actually gone for. We've got the fully customised ECU as well, the limited slip diff, the semi-race clutch and flywheel. We have not gone for any more weight reduction. And then for the racing stuff, we've got the race air filter, the race suspension, which some people might resist the idea of that. You might think it's a bit of overkill, and typically I wouldn't go that far, but I did want a bit more customizability for this one, and ultimately it did help because the car did need a little bit more in-depth tuning compared to some cars which are, already four-wheel drive or whatever else. So if you want to go for like just the height adjustable sport suspension or whatever, I'll leave that up to you, but I've gone for the racing one. We've left the standard transmission as is, nothing on the extreme section, and for the ultimate section, like I said, the high lift cams S and the carbon prop shaft. As you can see, the point level is quite reasonable, 573, so you could potentially use it for some road car events. In fact, you could fairly easily use it for that, especially on sports hard tyres. As far as the actual setup though, for those curious, we are using Gran Turismo 6 numbers as the reference, hence the power and weight. So it's not based on real life, it's just based on GT6. So we've got the sports hard tyres, of course, already. The suspension, I've actually set up a little bit different on the front compared to the back, and the reason for that is actually, as you can see here in the garage, I wanted it to have the right stance. You don't want the car to be slammed, it has to look accurate, but you also want it to have good stability. So that's why I've gone for 112 on the rear and 102 on the front. It levels it out quite nicely. As far as the anti-roll, that's on 4. We've got 35 for the compression on the dampers, 42 for the rebound, 2.55 for the frequency, so nothing too crazy there. 1 degree of camber, and then for the toe, we've towed in 0.20 on the rear and out 0.5 on the front, just for a bit of stability, of course. As far as the diff, I've gone for 10, 40 and 40. I tried a couple of different setups, in particular when it came to the diff, and that one really is the sweet spot in my opinion. Of course you could change it if you already know one that you prefer, or if you want to just experiment, but give it a try and see what you think. As far as the ballast, we've got 22 kilos to bring us up to the right weight of 1250, of course. I've put that all the way to the back. You don't have to do that, but it just brings us up to a 52-48 split. Then for the ECU, that is untouched. Downforce is 150 and 50, so nothing too crazy there either. And as far as the stuff over here, of course, you can see what we've already fitted. So, like I said, it's actually quite an easy build to do. It's a great visual design that the player has done. Of course, combine it with this tune, you could definitely use it in multiple events. It's nothing too crazy in terms of power, certainly not in terms of point level. And even on these tyres, as you're about to see here on Suzuka, it's actually a very good car. In fact, I was surprised just how quick this thing is. I knew it would be quick, because obviously it's a Z, it's already a good car, Nismo even more so. But this is actually a tiny bit quicker than the Mitsubishi FQ440 build that I did in a previous Special Projects pack, and that has some pretty distinct advantages. Of course, four-wheel drive, but also 440 horses, there's about 50 more than this. That's quite a substantial difference when it comes to JDM, so yeah, it speaks for itself in terms of its capabilities. You can get the tail out a little bit and slip slide if you want to, but overall it's very grippy. I would actually say it feels really good for a car that's got sports hard tyres. It belies those tyres, actually. It's a very, very fun car to work with, and certainly you can immediately feel that it has the potential to use it for racing, certainly in career mode, if not online, if you wanted to, or if you just want to stroll down memory lane from some, or for some even, Gran Turismo 6 nostalgia, well, then it's great for that too. So show the designer some love from me. Of course, I hope you enjoy the build, and naturally check out the other 9 builds in pack number 7, dropping this week. But until tomorrow, I'll see you then, and for now, as always, thanks for watching.